Good afternoon, all. It's already afternoon. So my job is to introduce the second strand that we would like to showcase today, and which is regaining a sense of belonging. And after the the link and reconnection to nature and the importance of place quality, quality place, we will now look more at another aspect, which is the sense of belonging, and of course then the link to community involvement, to creating a sense of ownership in all stages of a project, and not just at some point and then we do a little bit of consultation and then we tick the box and we move on. This is definitely not what we are looking for in a new European Bauhaus initiative or project, looking at all aspects of a project in with the community around the project very, very involved, including in looking at how we finance projects. And how can we do this better than by inviting Helena to come and tell us the fantastic story of one of the NEB prizes winners of 2021, called LaFábrika detodalavida. Already the title is for me NEB completely. It's such a beautiful thing to do and to say. I also want to stress that the project, the initiative has been linked to an Interreg project. So Helena is not totally unaware of the Interreg community, and also of maybe some of its constraints and restrictions. But Helena, you have a beautiful story to tell us, and I give you the floor. I hope maybe 12, 13 minutes. Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me here. I'm still super proud to talk about LaFábrika everywhere I go. And for me, this story is unavoidably a bit personal, because I am from the village where LaFábrika is. I've been raised next to LaFábrika, and I'm going to be telling some personal stories along the way. LaFábrika is one of these special places in the world that has a sort of magical atmosphere. It's all about community, resistance, and especially action. It's called LaFábrika de toda la vida because it's always been called LaFábrika, because it's the only factory in my village. It was a factory before, and now is the new factory working on. The name is the Factory of a Lifetime, and it is a collective space for ecological and cultural projects. The factory was opened originally in 1952 in the space of a franchised program called Plan Badajoz, and this plan was aimed to create new crops, new villages, and new water reservoirs in the region to avoid depopulation, which is one of the biggest problems that still today strike our region. And to build all of those things, a lot of concrete was needed. So as in my village, there is a lot of limestone rock. They opened a factory. The Plan Badajoz was articulated, and once it was done, the factory closed. That affected a lot the economy of my village, but the factory was simply just abandoned. It was bought by the local municipality for €1, and then it was just left there. Idris, if you could please pass on the picture, we could see certain images of the factory back then. If you see that pictures with people, that's Franco opening up, inaugurating the factory. It was working only for 15 years, and after that it was left in a terrible state of abandoned. And I have to say that the factory is located in the southwest of Spain, in a rural area next to Portugal, or close to Portugal. But the biggest city next to our village is 170 kilometers away. So we are, what we say is that we are in the periphery of the periphery. We are the periphery of Europe. And in that sense, LaFábrika works as an oasis for independent culture there. At the same time, we are located in a privileged geographical location, as we are in the way of La Ruta de la Plata, which is a historical road that crosses Spain from north to south in the west. So even if we are, in a sense, isolated, we are still connected somehow by the main roads of our country. If you could pass on, Idris, I can show you exactly. When we talk about rehabilitation in the factory, we are talking always about this space that you can see in the red brackets. Those are the original offices and warehouses of the factory. And all of the rest that you can see is the map of the factory. So even if today we have done incredible work of rehabilitation, we are in the middle of a huge ruin. Also, we have been treating the white space to the right next to the red bracket, which is the garden today. This is a unique Andra, because we are even outside our village. So in a sense, we are in the middle of nowhere, and that gives us so much space to dream about what we want to do with our space, what we want to do with our initiative. We are not constrained by any neighbors. We are not constrained by even the municipality. We are just there doing what we dream about. LaFábrika is above all a communitarian project, and all the rehabilitation process has been done by a thing we call autoconstrucción in Spanish, but it's weird to find a way to say that in English. I'm calling it here today self-rebuilding, because we we didn't ask for help more than to our friends during the 12 years of the rehabilitation project. If you could see in the next page, you can see a little bit about it. All the materials of the factory, of rebuilding the factory, have been reused. So because we are in the middle of a huge network of other collective spaces that communicate in order to give help, hands and materials to people who believe in the same ideas as us. So from LaFábrika, we are fulfilling a communitarian dream, in a sense of we have a black space to create a space for people by people. So that has been a huge power for us in every stage of the process. If you can see some images here of how the factory was back in 2009. It was just, as you can see, it was full of trash, full of waste of 20 years of abandonment. Young people independently redid the roof, redid the walls, painted, refurnished, and did all the works that are seen here today. Excuse me, I'm a bit nervous today. And when you see this in data, you can be surprised. For a small village of 8,000 people like mine, more than 30 international collectives participated, more than 200 national collectives and artists participated. Over the years, more than 3,000 people collaborated in rehabilitating this space, which is a duocracy. A duocracy is where you go and do things as a way of governing something. And for this, we have calculated that more than 90,000 euros of reused materials have been invested in there, with only 4 to 12 people managing it. So it is actually a big thing to say, and a big pride for all of us, that we could have coordinated all of this around an idea, around a dream. Over the course of the years, it says more than 4,400 activities, but I tell you, it's a way more activities. And more than 15,000 users have participated, again, in a village of 8,000 people, which is incredible. The factory is three things for me. The factory is a space. The factory is a community, but especially and more interestingly, the factory is a huge network that connects people all over Spain and even all over the world. I have been there in events in my village, in my small village where don't even my friends come, with people from Asia, like from a lot of countries of Asia, from Belgium, from Holland at the same time. So it's really a place and meeting space for people who are willing to be active towards communitarian projects and towards dreams and collective dreams. The factory is a bit from everybody. We are not owning the factory we are never owning the factory. We are just taking care of it and passing it by to the next generations that come by and next communities that occupy it. So in that sense, I think I can tell you about the five permanent projects that we held, apart from all the activities that we usually, like satellite activities that we always do. The five more popular permanent projects that we have are the first one, Cine al Fresco. This is the initiative that connects us the most with the village, and it's a cinema festival for the summer nights, where people bring their own chairs and we bring the rest. We project independent cinema, essentially from our region, and then we hold debates towards it. It has been a success always, and even during the years of pandemic, people have come to share their nights together and to collectively reflect upon different topics. Yes, these are some images of last summer. Then, apart from that, the first program is Cine al Fresco. The second one is Corralón Records. It's a youth managed net label. It's a music net label, and we are focusing it toward young creators of our region, because we do not have studios available or the contacts that we need to create music freely. So we are providing a studio and professionals for young artists from our region who want to participate or develop their artistic side. And in Corralón Records is 2 years old now. But by now we have done so many things. We have done radio programs, 2 festivals. We have released like 5 albums. We have put in contact dozens of artists, and we have held battles, rap battles and everything. We also go outside and do DJing services and bring electronic music to the village for young people like us. I am extremely proud of El Corralón because we are truly helping artists grow up, artistically speaking, and we are a bed where to professionalize ourselves by learning by doing and helping each other. So it's really a network again. Apart from El Corralón and Cine al Fresco, we also have a communitarian garden there. It's the outside part of the factory in the middle of a ruin. So we had a soil that was truly contaminated by the heavy waste of the factory. Here you can see the ruin and as well as the garden. The garden started very humbly as my friend only wanted to plant a few aromatic plants. And now we have a huge garden with a Mediterranean forest growing there. In this process, some experts in the ground have helped us to program a plan where to rehabilitate the soil in order to make it healthy again. And by that, we are planting a Mediterranean forest, hoping that 100 years, the soils will be healthy again. And so for now, we are planting in parterres. so we can use healthy land in order to eat our own tomatoes and vegetables. Apart from Siempre Viva, which is the garden, Corralón and Final Fresco, we are also extraordinarily proud of La Cacharrería, which is the last project of LaFábrika. It's a huge warehouse that works as a workshop and as a warehouse for reused materials in order to give us the ways and the means of rebuilding everything we need to rebuild, or building something from scratch and helping other people learn how to build their own projects. For example, this summer, we had open nights to build your own camper van. And it was really interesting because we had a communitarian workshop for people to learn how to build with our materials and reuse materials. La Cacharrería was funded by a crowdfunding that finished this summer. We could, sorry, we could recollect 13,000 euros after this huge community that we are participating with. And this money was to prepare the factory, and as well as to buy tools, because we are not funded by any permanent programs. We are self-funded in the most of the sense. We just ask for minor grants, and we needed, in the sense, we needed our own materials in order to be a bit more independent. And that was a complete success. And nowadays the Cacharrería is working not only as a warehouse, as a workshop, but also as a learning space for people in order to give shape to their dreams. So in the factory, there is always an educative filter where we are not only willing to be independent, but we are willing for people to be independent themselves. I think that is one of the main points of the factory, and I'm gonna finish now. The last program we are holding, and it's invisible. The invisible program of the factory is called Utopias, which is taking care of your own utopia and learn yourself and learn how to teach other people to be utopic with their own projects, and to spread the word of how to take care of these things. Also, the last thing I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, and it's good news, I think, for this meeting. I'm very proud to say this. In the factory, a few months ago, we held a meeting of a lot of collectives that are crossed by the new European Bauhaus values, and our aim is to create a community from the southwest of Spain, in order to support each other, and in order to move forward toward the new European Bauhaus initiatives. We are trying to create a strong network towards it, and I think it's full of hope for us. That's it for me. Here's a picture of us and all of us winning the new European Bauhaus Prize, which was an amazing moment for us, especially in terms of recognition, because we are nationally a very known independent cultural place, but we are locally unknown. The people from our village didn't know about us, didn't know anything about what we were doing. And now, thanks to the new European Bauhaus Prize, they can be proud of something that's happening in their village at a European level. That was very important for us, because we finally got the recognition of bringing people to our village from all around the world. And that's it for me. Thank you very much,
Helena. Thank you so much for this inspiring story. And indeed, we should not be afraid to say that with these types of projects, we do contribute to restoring a sense of pride. And I think it comes through very, very clearly in the way in which you present this project.